Welcome back, guys, to the final round. My name is Jake, and today we're going to have our fighter profile video, this time about Joe Stevenson, former two-time Ultimate Fighter in the UFC, UFC Veteran. Very solid fighter overall, but honestly, just a pretty kind of cool, cool kind of chill dude. As fans, we got to know him quite a bit through not one but two stints on the Ultimate Fighter. Obviously, he was on Ultimate Fighter season 2, and then was on the Redemption season in season 25. And we, as fans, we got to know Joe Stevenson, and I want to give him a little shout out, a little quick fighter profile for him. So let's get right into his career. Before I get to his career, Joe Stevenson is, he's one of the sort of kind of the, he's one of the all around kind of cool guys in MMA, especially of the previous generation. And so I feel like, a number of reasons why guys like him should get some credit for, for fighting and for at the time they fought. He turned pro in 1999 when MMA wasn't very known or accepted or anything, and it was very different to fight at that time. And I want to give him some credit, and a bunch of other guys for doing stuff like this for other careers. And and is he one of the big pioneers? No, but he is. He is a pioneer of the sport, starting so early when MMA was very, very much an underground type sport. So let's get in his career. So he started off with a win, a loss, a win, and then two straight losses to go to 2-3. Obviously, he fought at some regionals, but he lost to his first real loss came to Chris Brennan. And Chris Brennan had a decently solid career. He had a couple UFC fights and some fights at Pride. Most of his career was a King of the Cage. He didn't fight anybody great at Pride, but still. Joe got submitted by him by triangle choke in round 1. The following, another loss to Maurice Wilson. Heard of him, but haven't heard of him at all. But he had a win at King of the Cage and started to get some wins together. And by the time he had a loss to Ronald June, to Brad Gum. He won his first title in 2000, second title. He not King of the Cage, obviously. And let's see, 2002 he won. So he was pretty much successful. King of the Cage. King of the Cage was one of the at the time in the early 2000s was one of the more successful kind of super regional MMA promotions throughout America. So, and he was the King of the Cage welterweight champion for a number of fights. And then 2003, he fought a very good fighter, Thomas Denny, who had a number of fights at Elite XC, WEC. And then he kept on with some wins. He then won another title at King of the Cage. He actually was, honestly, he was a long-time champion at King of the Cage for a number of things. So he then 2004 he defeated Joe Camacho, who actually was the first guy he fought as a pro. The same guy. I think it was the same guy, right? That he fought years ago in his first pro fight. Man, Tapology ain't doing too good today. Yeah, same guy. So he defeated him, and then in 2005 he got the call to call on the Ultimate Fighter. At the time, his record was, I think, 23-6, which is a pretty good record for that time. He had a solid record of fights. Most Ultimate Fighter guys don't have big records like that, but this was back in the time of MMA still emerging. He defeated Marcus Davis, Jason Von Flue, obviously the creator of the Von Flue choke. And damn, Tapology, stop doing this right now. So he then he fought the Luke Kumo in the finale, and he was able to win the tournament. So he was the Ultimate Fighter winner in 2005. And then his first fight in the UFC after this, he lost to Josh Neer by decision. But he after this point, he actually had some pretty impressive wins. He finished Yves Edwards. He defeated Mishitomi Mishima by guillotine choke. He submitted Melvin Gillard by submission. I'm not Gillard. Melvin Gillard, who honestly, Melvin Gillard was actually really good for. He was he was a solid fighter. I mean, what's his record? 33-24. Wow, it's a lot of fights. Oh my God, he's still fighting. He just had a fight this September, and he beat a guy who's 3-0. Come on, dude, Melvin. He probably looks. I haven't seen him fight. He knocked out Joe Riggs in a bare knuckle fight, or lost Joe Riggs. Lost Joe Riggs in a bare knuckle fight. That's crazy. Man, it's funny, man. The, Joe hasn't had a fight since. Yeah, you good. Joe hasn't. I mean, sure. Joe hasn't fought in years, but so he defeated those three guys, and they were all were I think performance bonuses. So he had loads of Josh Neer, but three massive wins. He defeated Kurt Pellegrino, and then we go to UFC 80 when he had his all-time classic fight with BJ Penn, which was a really good fight. BJ Penn was absolutely, even though BJ's record at the time wasn't that good. I mean, BJ was a legend already, but BJ's record was and I we really can't unfortunately bring up BJ Penn without bringing up his without unfortunately bringing up recent talks about him and his clear bad CTE issues. He's been arrested a ton of times, and it's really unfortunate. I wanted to give some. It's just very, very. It's just it's very, very sad. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. He was arrested for the I think a sixth time this year. Um, oh my God, Chael is actually like Chael claims that BJ has proved. Yeah, it's crazy how Chael talks about this shit. Like he's proof that his family got abducted. Like Chael, just stop, dude, just stop. But it's unfortunately sad what's going on with BJ and stuff. It's unfortunately tragic because he's clearly got CT problems. Whether it's true or not, what's happening with his family, I don't fucking know. I'm not. I don't know what's going on with BJ, but all I know is that he took a lot of punishment in his career, and it's unfortunate that what's happening to him now. So after the loss to BJ, Joe took on Gleison Tebow, and who was a really tough guy at his time. He was able to submit him, and then his next fight at UFC 91, he got submitted by Kenny Florian in the first round, and he then had an absolute war with Diego Sanchez in 2009. This fight was actually really good. I remember watching some highlights of it a couple years ago. That was a great fucking fight. They went to war that night. Diego was able to win that fight, but it was a fight of the night. The next fight was in June of that year, and he took on Nate Diaz, and he actually won that fight. And that was also a fight of the night, also a great war as well. He then defeated Stephen Fisher by TKO, and then lost to George Sotiporlis. I can't say it again, George. He was on he was on Matt Serra's team on the Ultimate Fighter Season 6, I believe, and there's when he got knocked out, you hear Matt Serra go, George, move, George. It was just he was always Matt Serra liked it. He was pretty good when he was on the show, but because he who did he lose to on the show? Oh yeah, Thomas Spear. That was crazy. Yeah, nuts. Um, oh my God, Richie Hightower. Richie Hightower. Oh my God, is that Richie? These are some Richie Hightower. Oh my God. Some classic throwbacks to the old Ultimate Fighter days. God, it's crazy, man. This is nuts looking at these guys' records. Man, when did he beat Joe? Oh wow, look at that. Okay, so no, god damn it, Tapology, what are you doing? Sorry about this, guys. Tapology is shit in the bed right now. Okay, here we go. So, after his loss to uh, to George, I can't say the Soteropoulos, I can't say the fucking Greek names, long and stupid. Supposed to fight Takanori Gomi, absolute legend, got canceled. I think he got hurt, yeah, and then he took on Mac Danzig in 2010. He got knocked out in that fight. He then lost to Danny Castillo, Javier Vasquez, Dakota Cochran, and then he got so his fight with Dakota Cochran, who even though you guys probably don't know that guy, he even though he didn't fight, um, I know him from the bare knuckle recently, but he was actually pretty good. He fought at Bellator a couple times. I mean, he wasn't great at Bellator, but he was pretty, fought some decent fights. But yeah, he fought a bunch of good promotions for years. But I just remember him because he beat Chris Liebman in that bare knuckle fight. But so 2011, Joe fortunately got cut from the UFC after losing four straight, which was unfortunate. And because even though he had great fights, he really hadn't been winning. Right, his UFC record was 8-8, and he gets cut, and his career kind of goes down the slide a little bit. He picks up 2 wins in 2016, and then was able to get a shot on Ultimate Fighter season 25, and he loses to Justin Edwards in the first round. I think it was all one weight class, so I think you can get back in there. And then he lost to. He was then knocked out by Hyder Hassan in his last fight, and even though those were exhibition fights, they don't really show up on the overall record. Uh, he he was able to finish his career with a career record of 33-16, which 33-16. It's not a bad record. I mean, considering all the names Joe fought. I mean, he fought some good names. I mean, even early in his career, to fight guys like, uh, you know, uh, uh, who did he fight? Starting early on, Thomas Denny, Thomas Schul. He was pretty good, right? He was a pretty good fighter. Um, oh, come on, Tapology. Jesus Christ, what's going on? Crazy, man. But yeah, and then you look who he fought in the UFC. He fought Josh Neer, Yves Edwards, Mishishima, Melvin Gillard, Kurt Pellegrino. And then big names like other names. Kenny Thorne goes to T-Bow, Spencer Fisher, Mac Danzig, um, Danny Castillo, among a number of names. And then you go to big names: Nate Diaz, Diego Sanchez. I mentioned goes T-Bow and stuff, but big names: BJ Penn, Nate Diaz. Those two guys are massive, legendary names in MMA. So, and he was able to beat Nate and had a good fight with BJ. So, overall, a pretty solid career from Joe Stevenson. Want to give Joe a little shout out here. And he does have his own gym. It is called Joe Stevenson's Cobra Kai. I don't know if he have any. I don't know if he has any fighters currently fighting under there, like right now. I think he might. Yeah, there's a couple guys on here who are fighting, who are actively fighting. I think maybe a couple. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe a couple guys who are fighting actively right now. He does have. Yeah, he's a woman fighter who's actively fighting. Yeah, not a ton of guys currently actively fighting, but still, shout out to him as a coach. But yeah, that's the professional career of Joe Stevenson. So appreciate you guys watching. Want to give Joe a little shout out, give him some, and just give him give his career a little sunlight. So that's gonna do it. My name is Jake. Thanks for watching, and remember, the greatest fighters always leave it all the foul around. See you guys.